I mean,
It is.
I respect it.
Thing of beauty. Jamar Chase is a thing of beauty, Eric. The guy
is, man.
just
Absolute dog, man.
Success.
Now, if you're watching this right now, though, you got to understand. I mean, their Bengals are trying something new right here. This is the new under center for the Bengals because of the calf. They're trying to circumvent under center, and I like the pistol. I do like it. Volson is getting dominated though by Aaron Donald, and I can't say I'm mad at him for that.
This is classic Taylor, man. Run the football. You're up 2 scores. Take time off the clock. Your defense is cooking right now. This is classic Zach Taylor football right here.
Travion Williams has to get mixed in there with Mixon a little bit more, man.
And Chase Brown, man. Let's get a couple looks for Chase Brown as well.
I agree. Chase Brown needs some reps, man. Pride Rob, we need a good punt, man.
Travion is your hard runner, though, right?
That's what I'm saying, man. He's got to get mixed in there.
Travion is your runner.
He's got to get mixed in there, man. Honestly, right? Like he's got.
He works.
You still there, Game On? You sound like you broke up. You still there?
Yeah.
All right, gotcha. Where are you at right now?
Yeah, I was saying that he works in this gap system.
It's a decent punt. Yeah, he does work in the gap. I think Travion, man, he gives you a little bit. It's like a thunder and lightning. I mean, Joe Mixon runs hard, man, but Joe Mixon's got a little bit more wiggle to him.
He does.
Matt Stafford saying one drive, man. Here he goes. One drive for the rest of your life, Matt. 209 yards, 0 TDs, 2 interceptions, but none of that matters right here if you go get your team a TD. Bengals defense has to hold right here, man.
3.5 minutes to go. Bengals up 10. If you're not watching it on television, they have absolutely put Matt Stafford under siege in this entire game. What is it, 6 sacks now for the Bengals?
6 sacks. Trey Hendrickson has how many
2
sacks?
2 interceptions.
3? What was that, guys? I'm loving what I'm seeing from Dax Hill, man.
Hendrickson has 2 sacks. Reader hack the sack. BJ and Dax.
It's only right they get an interception to close the game out, right? I mean, I want to see them get an interception here so they can get a little bit more of that under center. 3 minutes is a lot of time.
I think right now, just keep everything in front of you. Make sure that clock moves. If you give up first downs.
That's not a face mask. Dude, these refs are awful, bro. These refs are awful, dude. Straight up, man. Come on, dude. Oh, that was kind of – I mean, he had his shirt, I guess. Did they say it was a penalty or no? Did they pick it up?
I don't know. You're ahead of me.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's a shirt.
Where are you at right now? Okay. 3 minutes on the clock for me. I won't react so I don't ruin the game for you.
Just give me the facial reaction. How about that?
Come on, bro. Get over there, man. Get over there. That's Santino on TV, man. Okay. Just saw Tino on TV.
Scott over the top. Scott
just
over the top.
Out for Santino on TV,
Scott hasn't been too bad tonight, Eric.
Man, I don't want to crush Nick Scott, man. I don't. You know, I don't want to crush Nick Scott. To be honest, I think we could improve. But what do you say, man? I mean, if you go on and win the game, it's not a big deal, right? You kind of gotta. If it ain't broke, don't fix it right now. But there's a guy back there, man. I think can make a lot of plays, bro. But he's also a rookie, so you got to learn, you know, got to give and take there, bro.
He 4th and 3.
Let me know if you saw the play yet. That was a good play there by Matt.
Had to have a first down.
Miles Murphy in the game, man.
Converts it.
Miles Murphy in the game, bro.
I like that.
What's up with your TV, man? We gotta get your TV
a little bit of experience.
This is, I mean,
I got my TV up.
We gotta get your TV.
Oh yeah, I gotta get the live. How about Hubbard right there, huh? Let's go, Hubbard.
I want Miles to stay in the game, bro. I want him to stay in the game. Look at Miles, man. Look at Miles, bro.
6 sacks tonight, Eric. 6 sacks.
7, right? That's 7, right? D-line's eating, man. It looked like one of the highest paid D-lines tonight, man. Woo.
Man, before we get into it tonight, man, underwhelming performance for T. Higgins.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think, man, I hate what's going on with T, man, but he's got his shake back, bro. I don't know if he's dealing with an injury, if it's the contract. I don't know. I think he just had a rough night. But Joe's also missed too, man. So I mean, after the penalty, you know what I mean? After the penalty.
Shout out to the chat out there, everybody, for attending tonight's Chatterbox Bengals with us. 2 minutes to go. Sorry. 2 minutes to go in the game. The Bengals are up by 10. And I'm happy right now with the way we performed, Derek. All things considered, I'm happy.
Can I just say this, man? Oh, Charlie Jones, okay? Dog, bro. All right? Charlie Jones is a dog returning the ball, man. Dog, bro. We got to give these guys some time, man, before we start writing them off, man. We have to.
Got to get them involved. Got to get them involved in the passing game.
Bro, we're writing guys off after one snap in the rain in a terrestrial downpour, man. We're writing guys off. You know what I mean? Give them some time, man. The kid's going to return another punt for a TD this year, man. Guarantee it.
I think they like what Yoshi can do in the blocking game too, as well as the receiving game. So that's why he's out there quite a bit on some of those, outside runs or some of those plays where, you need physicality at the receiver position. So him and Charlie, man, just give him some more opportunities, more reps. It's only going to help.
I think T.I. being active, though, just to be frank, I think it's more about Charlie Jones than it is Yoshi Vash. At least right now. I mean, dude, when Charlie takes that punt back to the house, the other day, I mean, the staff were like, I don't want to say what I want to say, but they were elated.
Oh, absolutely. This first time since 2012, week 7, that we've had a punt return for a touchdown. And I think that was Pac-Man Jones. So, that's big. Too. Here we go. A single high. No, they're dropping back. Oh, wow. Good. Stop. First and goal. As long as that clock ticks, man.
Little 4-minute drill. You see how the Bengals defenses land on these guys? They teach them this, man. Hey, get up as slow as possible. Lay on guys. Get up as slow as possible.
Get him! Yes! Get him down! Urgh! Let's go. All right. Yeah, and again, slow play it. Don't get up too fast now, Eric, on that play.
Get the hand right now. You're getting the hands team right on the sideline. You're saying, guys, if they score here, hands team, get ready to go. Right? They got one timeout left.
That's right.
That's the game right there.
throws.
Get the hands team ready.
Beautiful.
Go throw some super glue on those gloves. Whatever you gotta do. Catch this onside kick. Let's win this game and get it done. Wasn't pretty.
This defense in the red zone today, bro. I can't wait to talk about it. This defense.
2-2.
Can they pitch the shutout, Eric?
I mean, what's going on, guys? What?
Minute 6.
Get the hands team ready to go, man. Sorry. Dude, there's no excuse for that, man. They miss a diamond check.
Open.
The outside corner has to take the most outside guy. What are they even doing?
Yeah, it's a miscommunication.
Right?
Did we have a timeout there? Could have called a timeout there.
Could have called a timeout there, man. But I mean, that's a simple check when you go to a bunch set. It's called diamond check or box, whatever you call it. Usually diamond because there's probably 3 guys working a diamond. Inside guy takes the inside route. Outside guy takes the first one out. Middle guy takes the deepest guy. Man, I mean, this is cover 2. They split right for the long pass to was that Higbee? That was Higbee. Oh no, that was Puka. That's Puka. That's just a beautiful way to attack cover 2, man. And that's the hole in the zone, man.
You had the touchdown.
Yeah. That's a great scheme.
Oh, okay. I see.
By the coach. You see what I'm saying? That's schemed up, bro. That's beautiful, man. Nice job by
the biggest thing right there is Stafford. Biggest thing right there, Stafford stepping up in the pocket, creating himself more time. If he doesn't step up right there at that moment, that's a sack.
100%, man. I'm a little bit ahead of you. I don't know if they're going to kick an onside kick or what, but we're about to see. It's got the LSU jersey on, man. A little savage. Maybe that was an only white jersey. I respect it. They are going onside kick.
Come on.
They call timeout.
Come on.
Just so you know. I'm ahead of you, but they call timeout, just so you know. I won't ruin it though. But I'm just telling you, they call timeout. So don't put your eggs all in one basket on this kick right here. It's gonna call timeout.
I'm nervous, dude. I've got like I'm sweating.
We got the 1 and 2 up there right now, man. We got the 1 and 2 up there right now. We can't jinx it. We can't. They got to follow through on this. Can Casey predict the future? It's 19. I think we got 1916 right now, Casey.
1916, minute and 3 to go.
Okay, we're about to
try an onside kick. And
dude, he's got the ball on the ground, bro. What is this?
Charlie. Putting the ball on the ground. You're ahead of me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
I'm not reacting, man. Nothing happened, honestly. Nothing happened, man. What are you talking about? Nothing happened, man. Nothing good happened, at least.
Oh,
terrible.
Yes! Let's freaking go! Oh, yes! Come on!
Let's go, baby. Who they? You know what I'm saying?
That's a W. That's it.
That's the ball game, man. They got one timeout, bro. They got one timeout, man. First win, baby. It wasn't pretty.
Oh, who cares? Who cares? Kneel the ball. It's over. It's over. I mean, take a delayed knee. Kneel the ball, Eric. This game is over. It's a win. The Bengals are 1 and 2. And what did I tell you, bro? Hey, the whole entire week speculation, Burrow playing, Burrow not playing, Burrow playing, Burrow not playing. Burrow guts it out. He plays tonight. He plays his ass off. And the Cincinnati Bengals are 1 and 2 in a division that's 2 and 1 across the board.
100%, man. Joe Burrow, it doesn't matter. Honestly, when you look back at again, you do like beautiful wins. You like when the offense is prolific and all these things, man. But to get back to 1 and 2 at this spot, at this point in the season where everything around the Bengals seemed to be collapsing, right? I mean, you can't, You really can't ask for anything more, man. That's the ball game, man. Shout out to Who Dey Nation, man. Shout out to the Bengals getting a dub, man. And how about our boy Joe gutting it out, man? I know a lot of people were saying sit, but what happened to admiring the guy for sticking it out and putting some dirt on it? You know what I mean? I mean, dude, I love that about Joe, man. I love it about Joe, bro.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. How about all those fans that were saying, maybe put Browning in? The offense isn't what it should be. Joe doesn't have enough in him to get it down the field. Oh, he looks inaccurate, Eric. And then all of a sudden, Joe shows up.
Alex says
all of a sudden,
the Dolphins disagree.
The play calls start to work, Eric. All of a sudden, Joe Mixon starts to run the football, and we're scoring touchdowns. It's a beautiful thing.
Puka Nuoka's hair, man. I mean, that dude's got some flowetry in that hair, bro.
Did you hear the story about him, though? Before we get the show started, did you hear the story about him? I thought it was absolutely incredible. His father passed away. Before his father passes away, he says to him that he wants him to fulfill his lifelong dream of being an NFL player. His father even told him that he thought that he could play in the NFL. He was good enough to keep that drive, keep that motivation. He goes to the NFL, and look at him in his first 3 games. He's a star in the making. And so shout out to Puka Nacua, man. He's going to be a great NFL player for a very long time. Excited about him in the future for the Rams.
Touching story.
Let's start the show.
Touching story. Let's do it, brother. Let's get right through it.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us. Chatterbox Bengals tonight. Week 3, Bengals, Rams. Bengals take it 19-16. Eric, what's going on, my man, before we get to the breakdown of the game? How we feeling?
What's going on, man? Chatterbox Bengals, we are back, baby. I'm feeling good. It's always good when you get that dub in the win column. You know what I mean? 1-2. You know what's worse than 0-2? 0-3. And the Bengals get the 1-2, man. So I'm feeling good, brother.
Yes, sir. All right, let's start it off. The Bengals, they looked rocky coming out of the gate, Eric. Honestly, they looked a little rocky, a little shaky in that first quarter. I think they ended up getting a couple of first downs, but then ended up missing a 30-yard field goal. And the fans were saying, well, is this all that the offense can do? I think the air yards were 2.9 per pass on that drive. Fans were wondering, is Joe Burrow himself, even though, he's 14 of 17, but where is the intermediate game? Where is the deep game that we all know and love out of this team? Then we come back. The Rams answer with an easy field goal. They get into the red zone. Tutu Atwell, controversial call. Out of bounds, inbounds. They call it out. The Bengals end up sacking Stafford, force them in the 3rd and long, incomplete pass, 3-0. The Bengals come back and they punt on their second drive. Nothing happened there. And then it was a punt fest back and forth until we get to the second quarter. Finally, the Bengals answer with Evan McPherson 49-yard field goal with 13 minutes to go in the second quarter. And then it's back and forth with field goals. The Rams answered with 9 minutes to go, 6-3. Couple deep shots to Tutu Atwell there on that drive. The Bengals, once again, and that was a terrible punt by Brad Roberts, 34-yard punt. And once again, the offense stalls. They got 1 first down on their next drive. And then the Rams punted. Finally, the Bengals were able to muster a field goal drive with about 1:13 to go before halftime, tying it up 6-6. Coming out of halftime, the Rams ended up getting a field goal, making it 9-6. Okay, 10 minutes to go, and the Bengals once again, the defense was just incredible today. Just kept stopping them on 3rd down. 1 of 11 Rams on 3rd down, Eric. That was a big part of the game that people aren't. And then the next one is the big drive. The drive that I think was probably the best drive we've seen all year long. 14 plays, 75 yards, capped off by a Joe Mixon 14-yard touchdown run. The Bengals started off 13-9. And that's with about 5.5 to go in the third quarter. The Rams, right after that play, Matt Stafford, interception. Joe Burrow, big play to Jamar Chase off the fake to Chase Brown. They get the field goal there, 48-yard field goal, making it 16-9, 7-point advantage. Then we go to the fourth quarter. The Rams try to answer back, but it's too little too late. And there's just, I mean, that's when Trey Hendrickson, that's when this defense went to work on Stafford, just really putting him in a vulnerable situation. The Bengals were able to take a punt from the Rams with about 9 minutes to go, convert it into a field goal, make this a 2-score game. The Rams scored late, a touchdown to Tutu Atwell, but it was too little too late as the onsides went to the Cincinnati Bengals. We kneeled it 3 times, and that is your ball game. 19-16 Bengals, 1-2 in the AFC North.
Absolutely, man. I think, honestly, couldn't have done it better myself, man. In fact, that was probably the most elite game coverage broadcast I've ever heard in real time, man. So kudos to you, man. Bravo. Really good coverage right there, man. And let me just say, man, it wasn't pretty, right? It wasn't pretty, but I said it before we started the show. I'll say it again. You know what's worse than 0-2? That's going 0-3, right? And the Bengals right now are 1-2. And honestly, Game On, a lot of that credit goes to the defense, right? I mean,
yes,
the
sir.
defense today absolutely balled out, right? I mean, a lot of guys that we actually could talk about, to be honest. And I feel like a lot of them, I mean, they should be talked about. But you got Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard flashing, Logan Wilson, Dax Hill making plays. And then, man, I mean, DJ Turner with a great play in coverage. I mean, dude, we can kind of get into the specifics and look at kind of what some of the things they did, man. But I think if you're talking about this game and like how did the Bengals win this game? Cause havoc on defense. Lou Anarumo had no fear today. He absolutely got after the quarterback and ensured that Matthew Stafford wasn't comfortable in the pocket. And Trey Hendrickson was a man possessed out there today, man. The Bengals had 6 or 7 sacks tonight, and Trey Hendrickson might have had 3 by himself. I mean, dude, that's incredible, man. So shout out to Trey Hendrickson, man. I know you probably want to say some things about the defense. I don't want to steal all the thunder, but absolutely wreaked havoc on this team today, man. And that's something that, I mean, if you're a Bengals fan, you can hang your hat on that because that ain't going to change. It's only going to keep to get better.
3 big ones I want to bring up, right, Eric? I mean, the first one by DJ Reader after the big play to Tutu Atwell, which put him on the 5-yard line on the 1st and goal. They elect to throw the football instead of run the football right there. DJ Reader with a sack, kind of put him in a vulnerable state, and that made it a field goal. And what do you know? That field goal, I mean, that's a story right there, Eric. That 4 points right there, that ended up hurting him. That was pretty much the game right there. But the others that I want to bring up, obviously Trey Hendrickson, 2 sacks, 2 big sacks, I think, on 3rd down, 1 on 2nd down, 1 on 3rd down, but pretty much ending the drive because on both points, the Rams ran the football on 3rd and long. They ran the football all night on 3rd and long. They were giving up, and they were saying, hey, we're going to take the field position battle versus, try to go for the big play on this defense, which is playing primary zone. And then you mentioned before, man, Dax Hill. He's a star.
Dog.
It's his time. Dog. It's his time.
I'd bark, man, but that reminds me of the Browns, bro. Dog, man. Absolute dog, man. I don't want to cut you off, man. I laughed when you were saying that they ran the ball on 3rd and long all night because, funny enough, Zach Taylor is from the Sean McVay tree, folks. And it shows because Sean McVay refuses to run the football, much like Zach Taylor. So that's why I laughed. My bad, dude. Continue to cook, sir.
No, 100%. And honestly, what I saw from Dax was a guy who could shoot the gap and get to the running back, a guy who could play deep and play in coverage really well, a guy who could get to the quarterback and be that extra blitzing factor for this defense. I mean, Lou Anarumo is using this guy in a myriad of ways. Absolutely love his role on this defense. And it is incredible to watch. This is, and people are like, oh, Jesse Bates was this great ball hawk. Yeah, Dax isn't like, a ball hawk per se. This guy is just an absolute stud. He flies around just making plays everywhere. You love to see it.
Man, Dax Hill for me, man. I know that Jesse Bates top 5 safety, okay? Top 5, top 10, wherever you place him, that's up to you. For me, Jesse Bates is top 5. Coming out of school at Wake Forest, Jesse Bates was a second round pick, so he was a highly talented prospect. But Dax Hill, to me, is a utility knife, or what do you call it? A Swiss Army knife, I guess is how you would say it. He can play man.
Yes,
he can play zone. He can blitz the passer. And tonight, I felt like Logan Wilson played his tail off, man. There's no way you can really quantify the turnovers and the impact he had because they were huge. But I think Dax Hill was like a spark, man. When that team was like, if it seemed like the defense was on the ropes early, Dax Hill with that big hit for the TFL, and then to come back with that sack hit on Matthew Stafford. I felt like my man in the chat, man. He was like, "We here." I feel like Deion Sanders, man. We here, baby. You know what I mean? And that sack is what it's about, man. That's why you let Jesse Bates go so you can get Dax Hill on the field. You know what I mean?
I mean, look what you see from Logan Wilson, man. Logan Wilson is an opportunistic player. We talk about this a lot with our defense in those zone coverages, just being opportunistic. Let's watch this interception right here. I mean, that is opportunistic as it gets, bro. Just understanding what the quarterback is doing, reading that quarterback's eyes, and look how he. If you could rewind it, look how you can't see the all 22 view, but you watch him turn his hips. They showed it on the replay. He turns his hips, reading the quarterback's eyes, coming back to the football. That's an incredible play by Logan Wilson and a big game changer for us because we've needed those turnovers these first 3 games. We've absolutely needed the turnovers. And we, in that Ravens game, I was just praying that we got at least one. Just give the offense one opportunity, one sack, one turnover thing. We didn't get it. Tonight, we got double that. We got 6 sacks. We got 2 overs. This team was on fire defensively. Just love to see it, Eric. Big night for them.
Tell you what, man, I'm happy for the defense. I'm mad at myself, man, because I didn't pick them up in fantasy. You know what I mean? So double-edged sword right there, dude. They put out some points tonight. Logan Wilson, man, I think you made a really good point about him. The thing about Logan is, he played safety, I think, in high school, and then I think he might have went to Wyoming as a safety. But the dude's always in the right spot at the right time, man. And we didn't talk down on Logan, but we kind of started propping Jermaine Pratt up, which Jermaine Pratt is really good. But Logan Wilson, man, he's still a top linebacker in this league. And you got to love what you saw from him, man. I kind of want to talk a little bit and kind of shift to the offense because I know we were kind of talking about that before the show. And what do you think about the creativity tonight, man? Go ahead.
Before we do that, bro, we got to shout out these wonderful people in the chat. There's 53 of you out there. We appreciate
Let's go, baby.
Chat. Thank you for coming out, man. Who day, y'all? This is a big night, big win for our Bengals. 1-2 in the division, right there in the chase for the AFC North. I mean, hey, shout out to Conrad Biggums, Trey Carlisle, Tom Brooks, Honest Fan. I mean, everybody out there, we appreciate you. I know Parker's out there. Mark Fetters, he's been with us since the beginning. Love you guys. Appreciate you.
Shout out to Ben Taylor, man.
If you have an opportunity,
there, right?
Subscribe to Chatterbox and like the chat. Like the chat.
Let me say one thing, man. Shout out to Ben Taylor right there, man. I didn't mean to step on you, man. Shout out to Ben Taylor. He said, "Hey, man, don't bark." You're right, Ben. I'm not gonna bark, man. But I'll tell you what, them dogs was out tonight, man, and they play well, bro. They play very well, man. I'm hype about the defense and what we saw tonight, man. So let's talk about this creativity, man. What'd you see? What'd you like? What didn't you like? What's promising?
What is absolutely promising, Eric, and I want to bring up the stat because I don't want to get it wrong. What's absolutely promising to me, we ran the football 22 times tonight, Eric. 19 carries for Mixon. Just what you need to ask of your run game, and maybe just a little bit more with what Joe Burrow was dealing with. You got to just put a little bit more on him, but a great start for Zach in actually balancing the attack of the run and pass. I know Burrow had 49 attempts, but I mean, we need to run the ball more. Everybody's been saying it. Mixon looks like he's ready to take this on, this workload on. Give it to him. Late in game, They knew it was coming. That's a little bit different. And Zach likes to play this whole, hey, let's run the clock biz. But I love to see the mix of run and pass, that 14-play, 75-yard drive for the touchdown that put us up 13-9, probably the best drive of the year for Zach. A great mix of run and pass, and the run, which got you the 14-yard touchdown. I mean, that's what I love to see. The other thing that I love to see, you're going to bring it up, Ja'Marr Chase. Love to see his involvement in the offense. You got him open over the middle. You got him on the outside. You had him running those Tyreek, those slants, or the motion and go. This was a big one right here. Pistol formation, man. Fake pitch, Ja'Marr on a deep post. Huge. Yeah. Absolutely huge. Man. Love to see his involvement. And then you brought it up to me. The offensive line. They didn't look bad. They didn't look bad at all. For a quarterback that can't move, they played exceptional. Against Aaron Donald's team, exceptional. I love to see what I saw out of the offensive line tonight. So those are my big things from the offense, man. And when we talk about creativity, it's just Taylor utilizing the middle of the field. I didn't see the start. Everybody's like, oh, I don't know. This looks poor. I can't remember who it was, but it was a new newscaster who said, is this football? Is this football? The first two drives? But then finally, Zach started going intermediate to deep, and it was working. And in the second half, I mean, I knew exactly what he was doing. He was trying to see what the defense was going to do, see if he could key in on some variables, and then attack them in the second half, which is what we did. That's why we're a second half team. What did you see out of him?
Man, I want to say, first of all, let me get this out the way, man. I want to say one thing. I'm a very, very nice guy. Okay, I'm a very nice guy. I open the door for people when they walk past me in the store. I pull out chairs for my wife. I wear I wear handkerchief or when I'm at the dinner table, and I don't put my elbows on the table. But one thing I will do, is lose a little bit of that if people tell me to bench Joe Burrow for Jake Browning. I will lose it. You know what I mean? So that I just had to get that off my chest right there, man, because that's one thing for me that I don't know if I could deal hearing that. I was seeing tweets saying, hey, man, you wonder if the Bengals should put in Jake Browning because this Joe Burrow guy, I just don't know if he can get it done. Folks, I like Joe Burrow on 75%. And so I had to kind of get that on the table. But I want to say, man, in the first half, it was a struggle, right? Tonight, I learned something new. The Bengals and the Giants are two of the only teams in the NFL that have not scored a first half touchdown this year. So that's got to change. Zach Taylor, whether it's Joe Burrow, whether it's penalties, whatever it is, the offense has to get it cleaned up. That's got to change. You got to improve because you can't continue to start slow like this if you want to make a run, right? That let's go ahead and get that out. Let's go ahead and get that out first, right? But let's also go ahead and say this. The offensive line tonight to me was improved. Did Cordell Volson get mauled by Aaron Donald tonight? Maybe. Yes, absolutely he did. But folks, it's Aaron Donald, the greatest player to ever play football and defense. And quite frankly, man, if that's what it takes, because before Aaron Donald moved over there, Volson was not getting annihilated like that, okay? But when he did, yes, he got killed. I don't know if he needs to put sand in his shoes or something so he can get a little bit more of a base and make that block on Aaron Donald, man. But truly, I really was impressed with the offensive line. Joe Burrow had time. Joe missed some throws, right? But I thought overall, I don't want to talk about Joe right now. The creativity in the second half was there. Jamar Chase in the slot, like you said, right? Getting Charlie Jones, getting the ball to Charlie Jones, man, right? Designing a play for Charlie Jones, because last week when the Bengals saw Charlie Jones take that punt return to the house, the staff went back. They got him where we were at home. They went back. They went and they watched the film. They said, hey, we got to get this kid the ball. Some way, somehow, we got to get this kid the ball just to see what he can do in space. And I thought that Charlie looked explosive when he caught that pass. He didn't do much with it, but he looked explosive. So I thought that was pretty cool. You love to see Jamar Chase. They've been using him in the backfield this year, but you just love to see the creativity starting to bud. I think the thing about Zach, and I've been super critical of Zach Taylor, and a lot of people have been very critical of Zach Taylor, rightfully so, folks. You got one of the best rosters in football. You have a top 5 quarterback in football. And yes, he's banged up right now, but you have a team with high expectations. And when expectations are high, you need to hold people to the standard. Don't move the goalposts. Hold them to the standard, and that's what we're doing. And that's why we've been critical of Zach. But Zach Taylor has been a guy who consistently starts late, but once he starts to cook, as we say, in spaces, he does well, man. He does get creative, and it was great to see that come out today. I thought he did a really good job of targeting Jamar Chase, which you mentioned. Jamar Chase went absolutely nuclear today, and I just thought that they made an intentional effort to get him the ball. I would have liked him to get a touchdown for other purposes I will not disclose, but I was so happy that he got the ball tonight and that he was able to make an impact on the game that we felt, and the defense had to worry about him all game. They put him in the slot, man. They made it tough on the defense, man. They didn't let him just press him on the outside. They moved him around. I love that.
Exactly. 15 targets, 12 receptions, 141 yards. Look, if you're going to pay Jamar Chase that kind of money, you better put the offensive focus around him. Make Jamar your Justin Jefferson. You did it this week. Let's do it again next week. Let's keep doing it, right? Keep moving him around. Keep getting him in space. It'll open up things for T. Higgins. It'll open up things for Tyler Boyd. It'll open up things for your run game. Like, they'll key in on other things because they have to pay attention to Jamar Chase so much because he's able to get open. And when he gets the ball, he's hard to bring down. He's a very physical receiver. He's built like a running back. So, I mean, Zach Taylor finally does it. Kudos to him. But, just great to finally see that Jamar Chase was a focal point of this offense, which is what we've needed and what we've needed to see from him and Joe. And honestly, let's not talk too much about T. Higgins, but if T. Higgins catches a couple of balls, Joe easily goes over 300 yards, and we might actually have a couple of touchdowns on the board instead of just one. I mean, they were absolutely cooking on that other drive. And you know why that was? Is because Jamar made an incredible catch over the middle behind him, Eric. It's where he reaches behind him, pulls the ball out of the air, turns, and cuts upfield. And even I can't remember who it was that was in the broadcast booth. It was Dan, and the other guy is escaping me.
Was that Dan Orlovsky? Was that Dan?
Orlovsky? Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, that was Dan, right?
And I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the other guy's name.
I don't know who.
But anyway, he even said that is an incredible thing that kid can do. That is otherworldly talent for him to be able to pluck that ball out of the air by spinning his body and then regaining control and turning upfield. That's incredible. So kudos to the coaching staff for finally getting him involved. That's all we've wanted to see this entire time. And for Joe to really trusting him, even when you saw double coverages, when you saw, soft parts of the zone, thread the needle, baby. This is Jamar Chase we're talking about. Yeah,
man. 100%, bro. And I know you just crushed it on Jamar Chase. I know we're going to talk about Joe next. But Rick on T. Higgins, when the penalty happened, when he catch the ball, they call offensive pass interference. To me, the DB was all over him, man. That's not offensive PI. And quite frankly, man, terrible call by the refs. Not surprised. Refs are in mid-season form. But I felt like that play in particular would have done wonders for T tonight. And once he didn't get that play, man, it kind of seemed like he was out of sync. Seems like T's kind of been out of sync a little bit, man. But I know he'll get over the hump and kind of get back into gear. He did just cook last week, so but the first game he was out of sync a little bit too. But I
You
got
know
no
what I
doubt, man.
love,
T's
though?
fine. What do you love?
You know what I love? That
What do
his
you love? What do
mother
you love?
goes after him when he plays bad, bro. That is
That's
just
mama.
it's a beautiful thing to see when your
That's a
own
football mom
parent
right
is
there.
like, "Hey, my son will not play this bad again. I saw what you saw. I'm yelling up here on the sideline. Man, get your butt back to the huddle. You got to be able to catch that." What did we make? I mean, like all the different things that you want a parent to say at the game. She was really going in on him on the
Shout
TL.
out
And
to
if you
Mama
want to go
T,
back
right?
and take a look at that, but hey, look, she's critical of her son for good reason. She knows how special of a player
Is
he
it
is, and so
profanity
do
on
we.
there or no? Is
No,
there
no,
any
no, no.
profanity
I
on
don't
there?
think so.
Can we
I
can
don't
we
think
see
so.
some of the tweets that she's got? I mean, I don't know if we got Mama
No,
T's
we
tweets,
might be
man.
able to. We might be able to
Can we
pull.
see?
We might be
Maybe
able to
not right
pull
now,
one
but
up.
we might be able to see a couple, man.
Yeah.
But
We'll, T ended up saying
eh,
20 minutes ago, "Great team win. Got to be better next week." That was
he
his
will,
words,
man.
and he knows it. He knows it. He's
He
feeling it
will.
from his mom. He's feeling it from the fan base. Look,
You know who else
that
has
was
to be
his
better
first
though?
bad game, bro. That was his first bad game, I think, as a Bengal. So I'm not even going to put it against him, bro. Like we won the game. So at the end of the day, just get better and start catching the football next week. So
You know who else has to be
that's where
better
I'm at
though?
with it.
The
No,
next guy
100%.
we're going to talk
100%.
about, man. The
All
next
right,
guy we're
bro.
going to
Let's
talk.
get into this. Let's get into this run game, bro. Let's talk about it. Let's talk
Let's talk
about the
about it.
run game. Because honestly, so let's go over some positives. Let's go over some negatives because I do think there's a couple of different things, right? Early on in the game, especially that first half. That first half, I believe Mixon ended up having it was 5 carries for 21 yards after the second drive. I want to say before halftime, he might have ended up with like 7 for 34, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to
Yeah.
myself, Joe Burrow threw the ball 31 times in the first half, Eric. 31 times. And he was on pace for 62, right? With a bad calf. What are we doing? Run the ball. Like, I don't know how much more specific we need to be, but you have to run the ball if you want variation, if you want the defense to not be keying in on your quarterback, if you want to keep your quarterback upright, if you want these explosive plays to work, everything goes back to just running the ball. Just run the ball and use different variations to the run. That's fine to open up what you can for your quarterback because it will. It will. The defense will start looking for the run, and that's when you hit them over the top. So, he was running hard. He was being successful. Now, what you said when we first started this is absolutely true. Travion is a hard runner and built for this scheme. He should be playing more and taking the load off Mixon to help keep Mixon fresh late in game. But we need more runs out of both of those two guys.
I want to stop
Zach
you
Taylor
really
has
quick.
to make that, has to accentuate that moving forward. It's got to be over 20 carries moving forward for this run game.
I want to say shout out to Dustin Croft with the super chat. Dustin, and I don't want to cut you off. My bad, brother. Dustin Croft says, if T catches the ball, we hang 30. He and Volson were bad tonight, but you still got a dub. Yeah, shout out to Dustin Croft with the super chat, man. Greatly appreciated, brother. I agree, man. I think me and Game On agree. T catches a couple passes, man. That game ends up a little bit more lopsided. And Volson, to me, man, I think Volson was matched up against Aaron Donald. And quite frankly, when you're going against a guy like Aaron Donald, I mean, you just got to block and pray, man. I mean, he really didn't have a chance tonight against Aaron Donald. But I thought before he was doing well. And, look, I think late in the game, Aaron Donald just started abusing him. But you know how it is, man. So my bad, Game On, man. You were cooking, but I wanted to make sure we gave a shout out to Dustin, man, with the super chat, man. Giving some love to the show.
100% shout out to you, Dustin. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you, brother. And I agree with you. And I also agree that, man, if T. Huddy might be better than Irv Smith. We need to talk. We need to say that right
Might
here
be.
and now. T. Huddy,
It's time, brother.
Tanner Hudson, again, looks more what we need out of this offense than what we saw out of Irv Smith in these first 2 games. He's catching the football. Now, he stumbled over his own 2 feet on that first drive, right, on the 3rd down. But other than that, the big catch before halftime to put us in field goal range, in the second half, he was cooking over the middle of the field. This guy is exactly what we need in this receiving core to help offset some of these deeper shots. Him open in that seam, I mean, that was working all game long. You gotta have somebody like some big, physical, being able to catch over the middle of the field, not being afraid to take hits. This guy is what we need. He might need to be active, and I'm not saying move on from Irv Smith. I'm just saying he looks better in this offense than Irv Smith has so far.
Yeah, I we might be getting a little overzealous here. We might be getting a little crazy, but game on. T. Huddy, that's what the folks are calling him, right? I think Ace and Zim might be calling him T. Huddy, man. I think T. Huddy is tight end 1, dude. Straight up, man. Just like that. I think he's tight end 1. Give him opportunities, and let's roll with it, man. And Irv Smith comes back. I'm not saying you got to cut Irv. You can make him tight end 2 or, but let's roll with T. Huddy, man. Let's see where it goes. Even Cam Sample, caught a pass, and he made a move, man. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and they put Sample out there for the blocking game, right, and the run game. But if he catches an underneath pass and takes it 10 yards, I'm not going to complain. I mean, he's a little bit more physical than Tanner up above, so like he can take on a few shots here and there. So I'm good with it. I'm good with him being in as like that forgotten tight end man underneath that nobody's paying attention to that can get you 9-10 yards, on a 3rd down or a 2nd down, and help keep your drive alive. I think it might have been 4th and 1, or it might have been 3rd and 1 after that play, and I think we converted it on a Joe Mixon run up the gut. So
yeah, man,
I love it.
The run game was incredible, man. I mean, when we actually started doing it, early in the game, like you said, you had the 7 rushes in the first half. Wasn't beautiful. You hate to see the unbalanced attack from Zach early, quite frankly. But in the second half, when they leaned on that run a little bit more, even if it didn't have any success there, it still makes the defense have to respect it. Because I'm telling you, the Rams, dude, they were just sitting in 2-man under, or whatever you want to call it, press 2-man. And they were just saying, hey, you're not going to throw the ball over our heads. They got to run the ball against a light box. You have to. Mm-hmm. And they did it, man. And that's how Joe Mixon is able to crease that for a touchdown because, quite frankly, man, the 2 split safeties, and then you can kind of, once you get past that second level, out the gate for 88 is what we like to call it, man. So absolutely awesome, dude.
And the Bengals pretty much did what we thought the Rams might do tonight, which is the Bengals couldn't stop the run in the first or the second game. Really, really tried to more focus on that pass game with Lamar and his feet, like keeping Lamar in the pocket, making him throw. But that run game with the Ravens, I think 6.1 yards per carry, over 148 yards in game 2. In game 1, over 200 yards. I think Chubb was well over 100. And that while they held Ford to 2.5 yards per carry, I mean, obviously in the first 2 weeks, you would have loved to have seen more out of the run defense. This week, not an accentuation of the offense, which really helped out our defense to key in on Stafford and create those 6 sacks. I mean, I think McVay got a little bit lost in his play calling right there. It helped out with us because I think, once we started to feel ourselves where there was a good mix of run and pass, you really started to see this offense take off. Jamar Chase was catching balls. Tyler Boyd was catching balls. T. Higgins had one on that drive for the touchdown. He had a 13-yard catch on that drive. So, I mean, that's what you want to see, man. This run game can only help everything else around it and keep your injured quarterback upright. So,
yeah,
that's where I'm at. Let's talk
Speaking of
about
your injured,
Burrow.
yeah, I was gonna say, man. Speaking of your injured quarterback, man, let's talk about Joey B, man. You kind of want to kick us off? What do you want me to do, man? I mean, I before we kind of to get into Burrow, man, I see people in the chat talking about Puka. Guys, I had Puka on my fantasy team tonight. I needed a touchdown to win. We didn't get it. You know, we won the game as the Bengals. You know what I mean? But we didn't get the TD. You know, so but but just joking around, man. But no, man. Let's talk about Burrow, man. Um, I'm not quite sure if the calf is on the plant foot or plant leg, I guess I should say, or where the calf, which calf is hurt. But to me, I think Joe looked good for the most part. There were some throws uncharacteristically that he missed, right? A few deep balls that I thought he usually would have them. He missed Jamar Chase. That would have been probably a touchdown or a 40-yard bomb. And then he kind of missed high on a few throws, man. So I don't know if it's the torque or if he just needs to settle in a little bit more because of the reps. But Joe was
Yeah.
good, right? He can't move as much as he liked to when he did roll out the pocket. I mean, he rolled out on that design play and he looked fine. But then when he had to kind of create, you saw him kind of grimace a little bit. So, you know, I think Joe, more or less, man, I think he's going to be fine. I think he'll continue to improve. And if the old line plays like they did tonight, and you're not playing against Aaron Donald every week, you're going to be absolutely fine. You're going to be able to win games with Joe from the pocket. And quite frankly, game on, I'll let you kind of talk about Joe Burrow. I think, and this might be, I said this earlier in his spaces, I think that Joe Burrow having to play from the pocket, not being able to create and rely on his legs, is going to make him a very, 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 very good quarterback. And he's going to have to trust his eyes. And maybe it takes a little bit longer for him to get there like this season. Maybe it takes a couple more games. But this can make Joe Burrow the elite of the elite, especially when he gets really healthy. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I would just like to say I was completely right about this the entire time, and I will take every bit of credit for this. I was telling you from the beginning last week that Joe Burrow is a strong-minded quarterback.
You
He
did.
is a
You did.
strong-minded person. He knows exactly how he feels, and if he's telling you that he can play, he's going to play. And he had every indication this week putting himself out there, even though that was a statement, right? When he went out
Yeah.
there on Wednesday and didn't practice, but you saw him out there, he walked up the hill, which he did not have to do. He stood out there with
Yeah.
his helmet on, even though he didn't take reps. And then the next day to have his pads on, once again, walking up the hill. It's a statement, man. I'm here to win football games. The opportunity is in front of
Yeah.
us. This is my team. I'm going to lead them to victory. This is I am not sitting out on this team. I know that he knows what Jake Browning is. Trust me, you did not want to see him tonight. I am so glad that Joe Burrow played. Now, you're not going to get True Joe because True Joe can, roll to the left, roll to the right, have some speed doing it, look for everything downfield, big down the field plays, rolling left or right. The off script is incredible. You're not going to get that. But what you will get is a calculated Joe in the pocket. And there is a little bit of mobility, Eric. I told you he would run left or right when the opportunity presented itself, or they would create a play for him to roll left or roll right. And that was the Jamar Chase play on the fake pitch to Chase Brown. So those elements are still there. And he delivered those balls on the money. The balls
Absolutely,
were either throws where it was over the top and he was trying to make a big play happen when just wasn't getting anything intermediate in the game early, right? That was piece.
Yeah.
And then the second piece is over the middle of the field, there were times like the fall down of Tanner Hudson or the incredible interception by Akello Witherspoon. That was an insane play. And you've got to give credit where credit is due. Burrow put it right in Tyler Boyd's hands. That guy picked it out of his hand with one arm. That is an insane play. If T. Higgins catches those two balls, Joe Burrow easily goes
That was
over
Tyler
300
Boyd,
yards.
though, right?
And he might.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Tyler Boyd.
That pick was on
T.
Tyler
Higgins
Boyd, right?
easily.
Yeah.
Right. But if T. Higgins has those two catches, which we saw, one of them was on a cross, and the other one I think was on a back shoulder. Both of those plays he catches normally, right? He didn't catch either one of them tonight. If he does, Burrow goes over 300 yards, and he might actually add a touchdown in there. So all in all, I love what I saw from Joe Burrow tonight. He worked through some things, but in the second half started to feel himself, really was there. And that gives us a fighting chance week in and week out, having that kind of Joe out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. For me, I think Joe Burrow is the guy that you pay 270 million to plus million. Joe Burrow is the guy that you drafted number 1 overall, and quite frankly, isn't that what AFC North football is about? Isn't it about gutting it out with the boys or the guys when you ain't feeling 100%, right? When the chips is everything stacked up on the table, and you got to get this win because you know what, Game On, the famous statistic that you told us, hey man, what was it about the 0-3 start? Has no team made it to the playoffs after going 0-3?
Since 1979, only 6 teams have made it to the playoffs.
Teams.
The last being the 2018 Texans, Eric, with Deshaun Watson.
Since 1979?
Yes, NFL expansion in 1979.
6 teams, guys. This game today was huge. I felt a little bit more of a calming presence because I think we were in this situation last year. So I think, hate to say we've been here before, but we have. But I felt a little bit more of a calming presence over the entire fan base. Sort of, kind of. I mean, Twitter kind of was spiraling. But I truly feel like you have to lean on Joe. You got to try to keep him upright in the pocket. And I think if Joe can play from the pocket, 100%, he can make every single throw from the pocket. Even the deep balls he missed, I'm not sure if he was just kind of a little bit just off or just kind of like some errant throws. He's going to get it right, guys. I trust Joe to get it right. And he will not miss those throws as the season progresses. This is the third game. This is Joe's third game live. First game was an terrestrial downpour in the rain. I see somebody in the chat, Sir Boy Wonder, saying, we are totally back, man. You know the meme where it's like, I want you to get the word out there. We back up. Because the Bengals are 1-2, man. We back up, baby. Don't you sleep on those Bengals. Got a big game next week. You know what I mean?
That's right,
Burrow's going to get better, man.
Next week against the Titans is the perfect team, I think, to get your lick back, right? Get back to that 2-2. Show the teams you're for real. The Titans just had an embarrassing loss to the Browns. Now, I don't think they're that bad of a team, but the Bengals should be able to win this game down in Tennessee and make it 3 in a row in 3 years, man. So I have every bit of confidence in this team to get it right now that they've involved Jamar Chase the way that they have. Hopefully he gets that moving forward. Hopefully he gets accentuated in this offense moving forward. I'll tell you another person that we haven't really talked too much about who played exceptional tonight. Where are the Chiefs fans at? I can't hear him.
Orlando?
Because Orlando Brown Jr., once again,
OBJ.
I believe, had a stellar game, Eric. I believe he played pretty well. Man. I believe that he was worth every bit, every penny of what we paid him. And Jonah Williams, I think maybe a half sack.
Yeah.
But got to give it up to this offensive line, man. 2 sacks this game, 1 sack the game prior, 2 sacks in the first game. The offensive line is much, much better than what they were the year prior, and we can all be excited about that. As long as they stay healthy, we've got a fighting chance.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking at the chat, man. Shout out to Sir Boy Wonder. One Nation. Did Miles Murphy play? Yes, Miles Murphy did get some snaps on the sack late in the fourth quarter. Miles Murphy was in there doing a twist stunt. Yeah, man. Sam Hubbard got the sack when Miles Murphy was in there. What trade would you make to put us over the top from One Nation?
What trade would
Game
I
on.
make
Would you make a trade?
to put us over the top? Oh man. If we're in a battle, right? We're right there. We're close. All right, give me 1 year, just one. We're going for it all, right? Give me 1 year and maybe a franchise
Chips
tag
are on the
next
table.
year. Kyle Pitts. Give it to me.
Kyle
David
Pitts,
Mulligata,
huh?
agent. David Mulligata
trade
is his
you.
agent. I'm not sure we can get a lot. You know, we're probably not going to get an extension. Maybe we will get an extension because he hasn't shown enough. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get an extension there. But Kyle Pitts, man, 1,000-yard season, first season, lost since. This team could really ignite him. Could really give him something.
I agree, man. I think this team could ignite Kyle Pitts. I do think, for me, hypothetically, I'd say Aaron Donald. Never would happen, okay? Never would happen. But how about Aaron Donald? And the reason I picked AD, man, is because how about AD? People say chivalry is dead, man. How about AD not pile driving Burrow into the ground when he could have power drived him into the ground? He actually helped Burrow up, man. And I thought that was love, man. I don't get me wrong, Aaron Donald terrorizes the quarterback, but when freaking Aaron Donald did that and he held Burrow up, I said, man, chivalry isn't dead, folks. And how about that? You know what I mean? So overall, man, it was an awesome win today. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Game on anything, man. Anything you want to add, dude? I thought it was an awesome night, man.
Shout out to the chat,
How
man.
about the 1
shout
and
out
2
to the chat.
Bengals?
Shout out to the chat. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. It's been an electric night. We're 1 and 2. Let's celebrate this win. Hooray, baby. Let's go.
Hooray.